Tell us a little bit about why you're here today.
Hi, I'm here at Seismic and x+why to talk about the outcomes from COP.
And so tell me what your thoughts are about COP26 so far and what it means for the future.
I think to me it's quite disappointing the lack of ambition in some of the targets, and particularly in relation to fossil fuels. I mean, there has been talk about phasing out coal, which some countries have disappointingly refused to sign on to at all. And so reducing subsidies is a start, but I'd have liked to see a lot more ambitious targets for reducing fossil fuels.
And what do you think people should be thinking about as their priorities to change and actually take action in the future?
So I think that there's certainly a lot of hopeful signs coming out of it as well. Despite the lack of ambition of some of the targets, it's great that deforestation has come up as an important theme. It was also good to see in the draft statement focus on Indigenous peoples and youth, because it would have been easy to overlook, particularly the vital contributions of Indigenous peoples. But in terms of action, I think it's about focusing on what everyone can do, not waiting for governments or certainly large corporations to set targets, but thinking about what we can all do.
And tonight we're asking people to submit their pledges and write them down. What would your pledge, your sustainable pledge for the next year be?
So my pledge professionally, working in education, is to focus more on networking and the power of the collective. Because I think education focuses so much on the individual, which at LIS we do. Obviously, like any other educational institution, we want people to come out of it as individuals with good grades, but also to think about how we can network students and organisations, local businesses more effectively, and start creating some collective action.
And last question, which has just come to me, I want you to tell me about what you feel is so important about the youth voice that's being heard, and is it being heard?
I think the youth voice hasn't been heard enough at COP, and it's frustrating that there's been a lot of activism, a lot of protest, a lot of young people saying they haven't been able to get into the sessions. And because the people responsible for making the decisions tend to be the much older generations who won't be around to actually deal with the impacts, or some of the worst impacts of climate change. And so I think, it is disappointing in that regard that more attention hasn't been paid to the younger people.